So, in the last couple of weeks, as always, YouTube has gone through its fair share of drama. We could talk on about the whole YouTubers, Jake Paul, and all that good stuff, which we made in other videos. But today, this one's going to be a little bit different. This one's going to be about Joe Budden. So if you guys watch hip hop related stuff, podcasts, shows, music, or whatnot, then you probably know Joe Budden, and you probably know the Joe Budden podcast. And on the podcast, he has two friends, associates, business partners, workers. We don't know. That's the issue of the problem. But Rory and Maul were his partners as well as Parks. It's Parks. It's Parks. It is still on the show though. But Rory and Maul, they quit, got fired, left, kind of thing. Like this is a very abstract situation. But I want to make this video because to me, I get it. I get it in a way because I've worked for a friend in terms of business, and very instantly I made the right decision, and Rory and Maul just didn't. But Joe Budden is also at fault for this as well, so that's what I wanted to go over, guys. And basically, in the beginning, when you're making a business, I always say, even with my buddies, when we're trying, even though it fails, trying to make a business, right off the bat, we lay down the laws, we'll write a contract, and it's there, like it's done, right? Because same way, like in the sense, like where like a girl be like, hey, why do you want to get a prenup and stuff? Oh, why a prenup? You don't love me. Don't hit me with that shit. Don't hit me with that shit. And I'll just flip it back and just be like, if you loved me, you'd sign the prenup because you'd believe we're staying together anyways. Boom, there you go, fellas, if you needed that one. But when it's your buddies and stuff, it's like you don't want to fight, you don't want an argument, you don't want, in general, ideas diverting from each other to the point where you feel as if in that moment you no longer want the business running. You no longer want this part of the business to be the business. You want to change this and that. When you have something signed, it's like a marriage. You're essentially like forced together in a sense. You can leave, but that whole headache of divorce you don't want to go through. So there's a fail safe, I believe, and then there's the whole legality aspect towards it, right? If shit got to go south, then you guys got your lawyer, you get the lawyer up, and you get to going. But without that contract, everything's in the air. It's magic, jazz fingers. It's nothing. You have nothing. Now, words in some contexts can be used as legal binding, at least in Canada, from what I remember. But how the hell do you prove that? That's the issue. It's not that a word isn't legal. It's that it's hearsay. And if you record someone who doesn't want to be recorded, it's not admissible in court. Which, like, I personally, I get it, but at the same time, in terms of what I believe actual justice is, I feel like it's counterintuitive. At the end of the day, if the whole point, and I'm sorry on a side tangent here, if the whole point is to find out who's right or wrong or who justifiably should be punished, why wouldn't you use a piece of evidence that would clearly end a case? Like, I'm getting off on a side tangent here, guys, but let me give an example. Let's say there's a murder case, right? And then someone videotaped it in a private area where you technically needed consent for the person and whatnot, right? Now, if there was no other evidence to give except for that, and it wasn't admissible in court, even though it showcases exactly what you need to close a case in one court day, but you can't use it. And I get it's to protect us. I get it. It's to protect us, and it probably has saved the people from not being, prosecuted unfairly. Maybe, but could we make some, I don't know, an exception for this case? Because you get what I mean. Like, am I wrong to say that? Here's the video. Let's close this shit. No, we can't use that. We're just going to go dabble around and go sniff around places and try to get this guy to snitch, bro. Miss me with that. But in any case, guys, that was such a random side tangent. Rory and Maul, these guys, honestly, it's like I get where they're coming from. They're in the right in the sense where on a friend's tip, and this is why you shouldn't mix business and friends unless shit's contracted. On a friend's tip, They put their faith in Joe. As per my buddy, they're never gonna off me. They're never going to do me wrong and shit, right? Like, they were going off the notion that since we were buddies, close friends, fams, right? Like, there's no way this guy's gonna snake me. And in all intensive purposes, I don't believe Joe would. The one thing I noticed with them is they seem off industry. You get what I mean? They seem like really genuinely friends. I would have thought they'd known each other since childbirth the way they were talking, but apparently he met Rory in the business, and Maul he's known for a long time, but they were really close. But once money gets involved and it gets to the pinnacle where they were going at, people change. Some people show their true colors when money's involved. Sometimes it's girls, sometimes it's always something. Someone has a tick where, like, you give them that and you're gonna see almost like their self that they didn't even know they had, right? They turn snake, as people will say. And in Joe's case, I feel like he's someone who's strived so hard to get where he's at or wants to go further in the industry. He wants his acknowledgement. He feels as if he's a failed rapper. He's got something with this podcast, and now he wants to be well renounced like a Joe Rogan. You remember that, like, kind of comparing himself and stuff. And I get it. If you're a cocky, if you're a prideful person, if you have high ambitions, that's what you should be thinking. But you got to come down to reality in some aspects, right? You got to tame yourself, manas, as we'll call it, right? Be on your manas, bro. Like, calm down, humble yourself, and work your way up to that righteousness. And that's what I feel like he jumps the gun too quickly. He's too sporadic. He's too emotionally attached to things. He's too emotional, in my opinion. He's probably a Cancer. He's very, very emotional. And I think Charlemagne says about Cancer or something like that, right? It makes sense. It's not good for business. It's not good for business. I'm not one necessarily to talk, but I personally have seen where that shit could go south and stuff. And I also have good examples, right? As I was saying with me, right off the bat, like, I'm working, making good money, but I've never in my life asked my boy for numbers. It's not my business anyways. But like I don't even ask him about his business side, because I'm like, that's not what we have. That's your business. I'm here to support you. I got you. If you need me, I got you. But that's your shit, right? You created it. More power to you. I'm here to work for your business. I make my money, and then that's just it. That's just it. I've never, yo, man, you're gonna put me, nothing like that, because that's not his responsibility. It's not, right? It's on me to get mine. If anything, they should have been learning off of him while they were there to make something of their own, if they wanted to do so. That's what they should have been doing. I think they started doing podcasts, because they kind of made up at this point in time. Joe was saying things like, hey, I'm not gonna let you guys make a podcast for a year or some shit like that. But then he changed his mind, and if you guys seen that video, that was very genuine. You know what I mean? I'll try clipping it in here, and like, if I played it right there, guys, sick. If not, he essentially said, my bad. Like, yo, make your podcast. Do what you want. I'm not holding anyone back, because he realized when he was in his hothead mode, and he made those rash decisions, he came back, he's like, shit, what did I do? Those are my buddies. Like, he's very sporadic. He just acts on his emotions, and then he comes back down to earth and he realizes that he oopsied. You know what I mean? So it's sad that the podcast has to end, because I thought it was heading on to high places. A lot of people liked it, but it was bad business due to wrongfully mixing friendship, man. It's like, in the business aspect, Rory and Maul, man, y'all were moving like buckets, bro. You guys should have got shit on paper. If a man be shouting at me when I justifiably should be requesting these things, if he said you could look for deals, you could do that, da da da, and then he shouts at me for doing it, fam, that's some snake shit right away. Fam, no. You told me I did it, and now you're yelling at me. You want to keep shit to yourself right off the bat. And they weren't willing to break the friendship part in order to get to the business part. That's what happened there. They were scared of losing the friendship, so they didn't proceed accordingly about the business. That was their fault. Joe's fault was he was about the business, but he thought he could properly incorporate the friendship. Because there's no way this nigga's gonna sit here and try to convince me that he didn't know they thought it was like. Nigga, get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here. You guys probably had 30 conversations about something like this, bro. A year. You know, that shit probably be coming up in the side, like on the side when you're drunk, when you're making a joke, when you're serious, when money comes up. This conversations probably came up a whole heap of times. But Joe used the friendship aspect to hold them back from really wanting to pursue the business aspect. It was like manipulation, bro. It was low key like a manipulation if you really think about it. So it's sad, and I think that's why he's apologizing and he's coming out the way he's coming out, because he realizes to the degree of how much he dissed. But at this point in time, I think that the bridge is well burnt. Like, you're not getting on the other side. Even Spider-Man couldn't reach. So they made their own podcast. They did it at the right time. If he said he's not going to sue, then they'll get a little lift. You know, they'll get a little kick on the process for their podcast. So I'm very happy for them, because honestly, I really liked Rory and I really liked Maul. They weren't Joe, obviously, but with Joe being the freaking Amaterasu fire, you need two other calm Shusuis with some Sharingans to calm him down. If that makes any sense for Naruto fans, man. But yeah, man. Subscribe to the channel, guys. Just subscribe to the channel. Click the red button, bro. Like the video, man. Share it to your friends and family. And I'll be back on the next one. Take it easy.